So what we're doing is resolving a problem with our PG book. Somehow it lost its way. It had a problem with the network interface. So we did some troubleshooting and removed the network interface card, restarted the VG book, the PG book. And then now what we're doing is, we found out that the firewall wasn't active at the time, but it was still refusing connections. That's likely because the service for SSH isn't installed, even though the IP address is there. Why am I recording this? Well, there are cases where you're working scientific computing applications, or just plain any computing applications, and you're working in Linux, and you have to work through issues like this to load and start and make changes. And it's all done through much of it's done through the terminal, right? So we can enable the UFW, but for the sake of getting things going, what we're going to do now is enable the SSH service by entering this. So we entered one command from the pound prompt to install the open SSH, and now we're going to do this to enable. So if I right click with my mouse and then paste, we should be good to go here. And then we're going to start the service by doing this. Whoop. Oh, come on. And we got a pound prompt with no errors. So we should be able to test it by logging in, right? So this is where we get back to my own virtual machine. And this will be the same on yours, right? So I wanted to connect to this host and on 53, and that's the very last part of our solution. So it's going to give you this. I'm glad this showed. So SSH is an encrypted connection through the terminal prompt. That means it's protected. And that means that there is some encryption components that are in the mix. And in order to establish a secure connection through the shell terminal, it's going to prompt about this. It's going to say, hey, the ECDSA key fingerprint is, and it's telling you that there's this fingerprint in the mix. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? And you have to type lowercase YES and then hit enter. This information is important to understand. So the very first time that you connect to your system to an SSH connection, you'll see this kind of stuff. And if you're not sure what you're doing and you don't know why it's prompting you for that, then that's a good indication you shouldn't be doing it. In this case, we do know. I'm going to say yes, and now it's asking me for my password. The password I need to enter is the same password I have running on my virtual machine here. So if I minimize this now, and I get back to my terminal, I can finish my assignment. So I can enter my PG book password. I'm sorry. I can enter my PG book password, which is PG book. And here is another thing that you see. As soon as you connect, right, with the password, it's going to tell you some important things about the status of the system. Now here you see that 21 packages can be updated, 13 are security updated. It says the system restart is required. So I'm going to go ahead and restart this system so we can clear that. But you should be able to finish now. And to demonstrate what we're doing, I'm going to repeat the same steps that you were to complete in the last part of the solution. Okay, so I am now on my virtual machine, but I'm connected to the remote PG book system. And if I take a look at what's in this directory, I have a mod 2 solution. That's the one I just created on the remote machine, right? And I'm going to change into that directory, and that's very important. That's the first step. So the first thing you should see is mod 2 solution in the path. You should see this in your prompt. And I'm going to make a directory with my first initial and last name. And if I've done this correctly, I should be able to see it now by listing a directory. You will see your name, first initial and last name. Now, this screen is not going to go away, but if I exit from here, it's going to say, oh, the connection to this remote machine is closed, right? And I still have the work that I did on the remote machine showing on screen. So I want you to highlight this and capture this screen like so. Right? So if I'm doing this and I pull up my system, I can hit my print screen, pull up a paint window, and then basically paste this for the last piece of my solution. Okay, that's the last criteria to get full credit, all 7 points. We want you to know how to create a simple directory. We want you to connect to remote machines to share resources, and we want you to be able to use it securely using SSH. My apology for the inconvenience that our system posed when it was in an unserviceable state. We've just walked through the process to show you how to return a Linux system to a serviceable state. So we reconfigured the network card. We've run some updates. We've installed our SSH because that was not part of the mix in the first place. I'm not sure why. If you run into situations like this where you need to do some things on your end, let me know. Now, it's possible that you could be in this system at the same time someone else is. So you want to follow the steps precisely. And what you should see are other student directories in there in the mod 2 solution directory. Any questions before we stop sharing and then share your screens or entertain any of your concerns and interests?
Well, I had gotten the 7 down when I handed in the assignment, so.
Yeah, if you've got the assignment turned in and you'd like to add the last criteria so that you get full credit, if you tell me to, I can delete your entry for this.
That's fine. I might get,
the module.
but the only thing I will say about VMware is it doesn't come with an automatic screenshot taker. I actually had to do those screenshots myself.
Well, yeah, you can have VMware running in a window and then click on your desktop.
Yeah, I mean, that was more seamless than VirtualBox.
Yeah, yeah. So if you would like, I can remove a submission, but everybody has a chance to submit twice. And if I see that you've submitted a second time, this first round, I'll just delete the first submission. And that's true for anyone.